One of the very first things you did when you got up out of bed this morning was balance. You balance when you stand, you balance when you walk, you balance when you bike, you balance when you hop. And today, we're going to take balancing to a whole new level. So, get ready to step up and become the master of all things balance. So what does it mean to balance? Well, it simply means keeping something in a steady position so that it doesn't fall. Now, why do things fall? Gravity. See, gravity is a force that attracts one bunch of stuff to another, and the more massive stuff is always stronger. So Earth is really big stuff, and it pulls on everything around us. You, me, baseballs, bats, birds, buildings, blocks, bookshelves, battleships, butterflies, bodies of water, Betty. And without gravity pulling us down, that slide in a playground would just be called a sit, because that's what you do. You just sit. So, if Mother Earth is always trying to bring us down, how can we stand? Well, that's because you and I are masters of our center of gravity. See, the center of gravity is the one spot on something that the force of gravity is pulling straight down on. So for you and me, it's right below our belly button. And if we want to balance on two legs, what we do is we make sure our belly button is between both legs and we, well, balance. But if you want to balance on one leg, you can't just lift your leg up, you'll fall. I mean, give it a try, see what happens. No, for you to balance on one leg, what you have to do is move your center of gravity over the other foot. And then you can balance. See, gravity's pulling straight down below my belly button, and I'm balancing on one foot. So now let's explore some other things we can balance. For this, you might need a stick, or a ruler, or a broom, or something that's long and thin and that you can carry, something that you're allowed to play with. So today, I'm going to use this yardstick, and I'm going to use my stuffed animal. This is little Chicky Hothead. And now, so first we're going to start by balancing the stick. Now, everything that you can see and touch has this center of gravity. And the gravity, again, remember, is one place where gravity is pulling straight down. So if we want to balance it, say this stick on a finger, we have to find where the center of gravity is and put our finger directly underneath it, like that. But now there's actually an interesting trick to finding something's center of gravity, something long and flat. See, if you balance it on two fingers, keeping the center of gravity between our two fingers like our belly button is between our two legs, and you move your fingers slowly toward each other, they're going to slide. And they're going to slide until they meet right underneath the center of gravity. Now, this is a yardstick. It's 36 inches long. And so the center of gravity on a yardstick is at 18 inches, right in the middle. And so I can balance it right at that point underneath one finger. Now, the center of gravity is in the center of the stick, so not only can I support directly underneath it this way, but I can also support it directly underneath this way. Now, here's something interesting. When you're balancing, first of all, you want to keep your eyes on the top, not the bottom. This way you can see which way it starts to fall, and you can make adjustments and pick it up. Now, what's interesting about balancing tall things is that it's actually easier to balance a tall thing than something short. Now, here's a shorter ruler. This one's a foot. 1, 2, 3 feet in a yard. Now, if I try to balance this one, it's going to be a lot harder. And that's really kind of interesting. Now, the way it was explained to me is that the center of gravity is closer to the ground, and so it'll fall quicker. If you drop two things, the thing closer to the ground is going to hit the ground first. So the center of gravity on this ruler is right where my finger is, and the center of gravity on this ruler is right where my other finger is. So, which one's going to take longer to fall? The one with the center of gravity closer to the ground. So, something small and short is harder to balance than something big and tall. So now let's try something a little bit different. Let's try to balance this yardstick on my finger, but we are going to try to add my stuffed animal, little chickie hothead, on the end. So my question to you is, do you think this will still balance? Raise your hand if you think yes. Raise your hand if you think no. Raise your hand if you don't think you want to raise your hand. Okay, well, let's do an experiment. Let's see if this works. I'm going to put my finger right in the middle, and whoa, it doesn't, nope, it's not going to balance there. But let's try that trick I showed, where we balance it on 2 fingers, and then we slide our fingers toward each other. And look what's happening. One hand is moving, the other one's staying stationary for now. And now, the other one's moving, and look at this. Now my hands are meeting at about 8.5 inches. So, put my finger underneath 8.5 inches, and look at that, it will balance. Just because I put something on the end doesn't mean I took away its center of gravity, but I moved it. I moved it because I changed the shape of this entire thing. I've moved where that center of gravity is pulling straight down. Now, here's another fun experiment. Let's take a look at a stick. Maybe you can go out in the yard and get a stick. And I have one here. And we can balance this in 2 ways, which we saw, like with the yardstick. We can balance it on one finger the long way. And I'm just going to experiment, try to find the center of gravity. Okay, no, what? Right there. Ooh, right there, okay. All right, so there's the center of gravity. I found it by trial and error, but I could also use my fingers and slide them together and see where they would meet up. And there's little sticks here coming off the ends, so it's getting a little messed up there. But we found the center of gravity is right about there. Right there. So, how can we change up this challenge? What if we took another stick and balanced the stick on the end? Now, we saw with Chicky Hothead, if I just hang it there, it's going to fall off. But I can move my fingers this way, and through some trial and error, I could find where it balances. Now, I'm going to try and take a second stick. Let me see, I have one right here, and I'm going to balance this one, or I'm going to put it over here. Oh, I've moved the center of gravity because I changed the shape of what we've got going on. So I move my finger over here, and now I found the center of gravity is right there. What do you think happens if I take this stick and I put it over on this side? Can it still balance? What do you think? What's your guess? All right, well, we're going to do an experiment. We're going to see. I'm going to take this and I'm going to put it over here. And we're going to see if it still balances. Well, I can tell you right now, it's not going to balance right here. But what happens if I move my finger this way? Where do you guess? Where do you guess that my finger is going to balance along this stick? Do you think it's going to be over here? Or over here? Or over here? Let's do an experiment. I'm going to guess right about there. No, it's still falling. What about over here? Look at that. Look at that. So we can keep building sort of these compound shapes and create all sorts of different balance points and move the center of gravity along the stick. Let me see if I can do it over there. All right. What about, this is amazing. What if I took this one way over here and I took this one way over? Oh, is there a place for me to hang it here? Oh. What do you think? Possible? I think so. Let me see. How about right? I don't know if that's going to work. There's not a lot of space there. All right, well, let me hang it over here. We're going to hang this one on top of that one. And look at that. Look at that. Everything has a center of balance. So my challenge is for you to go into your yard and find some sticks or twigs or stigs or twigs or small logs, or go into your room and maybe look for a ruler or stuffed animals or a pencil. Try and see different things that you can balance and explore the different places that you can balance as well, because we can balance on our hand, but we balance on our feet all day long. So maybe you can balance something on your foot or on your elbow. Now, one final word of caution. Try to balance things, only things that you have permission to play with, and never balance anything that you don't want to break, because gravity never stops sucking things to the ground. If you invent a balance that you're particularly proud of, tell us about it with a comment, picture, or video. Share it with us at USO-NC and at Flow Circus Inc. And tag us, hashtag USO-NC Reset and hashtag Flow Circus. For more information about activities and events with the USO-NC, see our website, uso-nc.org. For more information about Flow Circus, you can find that at flowcircus.com.